January 15, 2026. News tickers flash worldwide. BRICS summit concludes with historic Partnership for Prosperity declaration. The global order is shifting. In Brussels, diplomats sense uncertainty. The old axis of power, Washington and its allies, no longer sets the agenda alone. The economic gravity that once pulled everything west is now challenged by new centers of power. A Lisbon business owner now imports from Brazil, India, and Africa, not just Germany or the US. A sign of deeper change. For many in the global south, this is a long-awaited rebalancing. For established powers, it's a formidable challenge. The familiar script of international relations is being rewritten. Every nation is scrambling to find its new role. The story of this transformation is the story of BRICS, a coalition seeking a more equitable global order. What began as an investment acronym is now a formidable political and economic bloc. BRICS isn't tearing down the system, but reforming it to create space for the developing world. As 2026 unfolds, the implications are impossible to ignore. The world has already changed. Our task now, understand the depth of this shift and what it means for our interconnected future. For decades, global power was simple. The US and Western Europe built a system reflecting their interests. Institutions like the World Bank and IMF were Western-led, the dollar reigned supreme, and decisions in Washington rippled worldwide. But the economic foundations of this order have eroded. The rise of China, India, and others changed the equation. These nations became engines of growth, demanding a greater say in global affairs. The 2008 financial crisis shattered the myth of Western infallibility and accelerated calls for alternatives. Emerging economies recovered faster, fueling arguments for new institutions and less reliance on the dollar. This isn't about Western decline, but the rise of the rest. The US and Europe remain powerful, but no longer alone. Power is now more diffuse, shared among a wider array of actors. The global stage is crowded, diverse, and competitive. The age of unquestioned Western dominance is over. We've entered a complex, multipolar era. BRICS began not as a political alliance, but as a 2001 Goldman Sachs acronym, BRIC, for promising emerging markets: Brazil, Russia, India, China. Initially, it was just a financial label, but the leaders of these nations saw a shared purpose. They were large, resource-rich, and underrepresented in global decision-making. In 2006, their foreign ministers met informally at the UN, marking the group's first step toward political coordination. By 2009, the first formal BRICS summit in Russia called for a more democratic, multipolar world. Early summits focused on reforming global financial institutions and increasing trade among members. The transformation from acronym to political bloc was driven by economic growth and a desire for a seat at the table. BRICS signaled that rising powers would no longer be passive observers. They were ready to shape the world order. South Africa's 2010 entry turned BRIC into BRICS, giving the bloc a foothold in Africa and broadening its global identity. BRICS began building real institutions: the new Development Bank and Contingent Reserve Arrangement, alternatives to the World Bank and IMF. These tools reduced reliance on Western-led structures and funded infrastructure in emerging economies. BRICS summits expanded to cover security, climate technology, and more, creating a dense network of cooperation. The bloc's emphasis on sovereignty and mutual respect resonated with developing nations. BRICS became a magnet for countries seeking a multipolar world. Its journey from acronym to alliance was complete. The stage was set for dramatic expansion. BRICS was no longer just a talking shop, it was a force in global governance. The world was watching. In 2024, BRICS expanded dramatically, inviting Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE to join. This seismic shift increased the bloc's economic weight, reach, and influence. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran brought energy power. Egypt controls the Suez Canal. Ethiopia is a fast-growing African economy. Each new member added strategic assets, strengthening BRICS in the Middle East, Africa, and the Gulf. For new members, joining BRICS meant diversifying partnerships and reducing Western dependence. For BRICS, it was proof of growing appeal and a step toward a more inclusive global order. The expanded group, sometimes called BRICS Plus, is a diverse coalition united by frustration with the old hierarchy. Their cooperation signals a deliberate move to reshape global power. This isn't just about numbers, it's about rewriting the rules. The G7's dominance now faces a formidable challenger. With its 2024 expansion, BRICS became an economic and energy powerhouse. The bloc now represents about 45% of the world's population and a massive share of global GDP. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran's inclusion means BRICS controls nearly half of global oil production. This gives the bloc leverage over energy prices and the potential to challenge the petrodollar system. BRICS nations are also major producers of food, minerals, and manufactured goods, building resilient supply chains. They're trading more with each other, creating an integrated economic zone. For ordinary people, this means new markets, jobs, and investment opportunities across continents. A Brazilian farmer sells soybeans to Egypt. An Indian engineer works on Ethiopian infrastructure. A UAE entrepreneur partners with Chinese investors. These real-world connections deepen as BRICS integrates. The bloc is no longer just a political idea, it's an economic reality. Its decisions now shape global trade, investment, and talent flows. The world's economic center of gravity is shifting. BRICS is at the heart of that change. In a twist, some European nations on the EU's periphery are now eyeing BRICS for cooperation, or even membership. Economic struggles and frustration with EU bureaucracy drive this interest. The new development bank offers loans with fewer strings, and BRICS markets promise growth. For a Balkan nation waiting for EU accession, BRICS offers a pragmatic alternative: investment, trade, and leverage. These countries aren't anti-European. They're seeking options in a multipolar world. This trend, though early, cracks Western unity and highlights BRICS' magnetic pull. The appeal of BRICS, multipolarity, development, sovereignty, resonates beyond the global south. Even in Europe, some feel left behind by the current system. The fact that this conversation is happening shows how much the landscape has changed. BRICS is now a force Western leaders can't ignore. Today's world is shaped by two blocs, the G7 and the expanded BRICS. The G7, US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, champions free markets, democracy, and a US-led order. BRICS is more diverse: democracies, authoritarian states, monarchies, and different cultures. What unites BRICS is a belief that the current order is unfair and outdated. They seek a multipolar world with more voices at the table, not a total overthrow. BRICS champions sovereignty and non-interference, challenging the G7's interventionist approach. The G7 uses economic power to promote values. BRICS focuses on development and infrastructure, offering partnerships with fewer conditions. This creates a clear choice for many nations: align with the G7's wealthy markets and reforms, or BRICS' development model and sovereignty. It's not a new Cold War, but a complex competition between philosophies. Many countries try to benefit from both sides. The world is more fluid, and the stakes are higher. Looking ahead, the rise of BRICS presents two futures: cooperation or collision. In the optimistic scenario, G7 and BRICS become complementary pillars, competing but also collaborating on global challenges. A multipolar system could be more stable and inclusive, with more voices in global decisions. Developing countries might get funding from both blocs, keeping each other in check, but there's a darker path: escalating rivalry, fractured supply chains, and a world split into competing camps. Trade wars, resource competition, and institutional gridlock could follow. This would mean higher prices, fewer opportunities, and greater risks for everyone. The choice isn't made yet. It depends on leaders in Washington, Brussels, Beijing, Delhi, and beyond. Can we manage this power shift peacefully, or will division and distrust prevail? This is the great challenge of our time. The answer will shape generations to come.